Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I will be showing you how to paint this piece right here. So I will be showing you and telling you all the tips and the different things that I use to create this one, as well as the different tips if you want to get better at seascapes, because I only started painting seascapes 2 months ago and I feel like there's so many things that I wish I knew, and now that I know, they have helped me a lot with painting my seascapes. So I will be sharing them with you. Maybe they could help you out. So let's get started. So I'm taking my 20 by 20 canvas. I will be using some oil paints and I will be using some Prussian blue, phthalo blue, black, white, and I also added a little bit of turquoise on my palette, but I do use it very rarely just to add a small tint of turquoise to my paint colors. And so the first thing I'm going to do is to start off with the sky, and so I'm going to start adding the darkest color and start creating some cloud shapes. Now it's supposed to be a mess at first, so please trust the process, and when you're doing it also make sure that it is messy. It has to be messy for it to turn out nice in the end and beautiful. So start by first of all adding different colors. So I mixed 3 different shades of the same color, and to make sure that it's the same color I mixed a lot of the darkest color, and then I started adding more white and mixing some new colors from the color that I mixed at first. You add the 3 colors together, make sure that you kind of place them in different places, keep the lightest color in the middle and the darkest towards the edges, and then blend your colors together, and that's how you get a stormy sky. This is the easiest way. This is also the way that Bob Ross does it. He loves blending the colors on the canvas, and I think that it does work out every single time. So our sky is done, as easy as that. If you try, you'll see that it's very easy. Now onto the water, I also did mix different colors. I did the same thing, mixed a lot of the dark color and then added some white to that color and mixed some new colors from the color that I mixed. And first of all, I'm going to start adding the basic shapes of the shadows. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just adding some movement. Make sure that it's small, different strokes. Don't make them straight. Make them add some movement to it, and just imagine the water in front of you. It doesn't have to be perfect, so just add in different places, and make sure that you add almost everywhere, because there is a lot of shadows in water, and the movement that you see when water is kind of moving around, you see a lot of shadows and the shapes are imperfect, and yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to take the middle tone and I'm going to start adding that, and this is going to be the transition shade between our shadows and our highlights. So I'm going to start adding it between the shadows, next to the dark colors, just to kind of make it easier to blend the colors together, and make sure that the shadows isn't harsh. So make sure that you add that. Also add it wherever your shadows are, so kind of add it almost where you added the shadows, over it, under it. Make sure that you're blending the colors together. And I went back and I added a little bit of shadows because I felt like at some places there wasn't enough. And then when you added your transition shade, you're gonna take the lightest color and you're gonna fill in those white spaces of the canvas where you didn't add any color yet, and you're gonna start adding that lighter color, but it's not the lightest, so it's light but not the lightest color. And again, you're gonna try blending those colors together. Make sure that you add your light color next to the transition shade and the middle tone, because if you add it next to the shadow, it will stand out a lot and it won't look that natural. So make sure that you do that. I did add it in a place next to the shadow, and you can see how it stands out very fast, and you can kind of see it from away because it really catches your attention. So I did have to kind of blend that again, and I feel like seascapes is trial and error, so you have to kind of do it and see where it goes, add more shadows, add more highlights, work on it. I'm going to take that light color that I added and add it into the background. I decided to go with a lighter color just to accentuate and put all the attention on the foreground. So and I also saw different paintings and pictures where the lighter color was in the back, and then we're going to be taking different shades again of that blue, and we're gonna go back and work again on that shadow. Now, as you can see, when it's blended, you start to get that feel of a seascape, but there's something missing, and it's not a realistic seascape. So what we're gonna do is take the tiniest brush that you have, and you're gonna go back with that darkest shade. Now, once you get towards the end of the seascape, you're gonna start taking your transition shade, which will look dark because of how light the color behind it is. And so you're gonna start adding different, also the movement of the water with the tiniest brush, and make sure that it's really imperfect and the placement is kind of random, so you don't have to, it doesn't and it shouldn't be placed in a geometric way and, you know, a very prepared way. So just place them wherever you want, and you see how it kind of gives your seascape right away that kind of natural feel, and you're starting to get there. Now for the foreground, we still have a lot of work, so I'm going to go back, add a bit of shadows again, and then I'm gonna take the smallest brush and start doing the same thing that I did in the back, and start adding those small water movements and just those small kind of just brush strokes. And I also worked a bit on the shape of that big kind of shadow in the middle. And if you do that, make sure that you do it your own, so you don't have to go with the same kind of placement of the shadows that I went with. You can do it differently, but I feel like it works, the technique works every single time. And as I said, I'm taking my tiny brush and I'm going back with the shadows and I'm placing them again. And make sure that when you place them, you kind of follow the movement of the water. So for example, when the water is going up towards that big shadow in the middle, which is kind of a small wave, make sure that your strokes that you're adding in movement is also going up. So yeah, it has to be coherent and just follow along the sea the way it should go, and just keep adding those different movements, and yeah, just work on it. And as I said, it's trial and error, so if you like something, keep it. If not, change it. It's as easy as this. And all along, seascapes do come together really, I'd say, with time and by adding different details. So you have to, the more details you add and the more time you spend on it, the better it is. I did go with a small canvas so that I can explain how it's done. As I said, and as I said in the intro, I've been only painting seascapes for 3 months. I was afraid to paint seascape because they wouldn't turn out good, and every single time I would mess up and it would be frustrating. But now that I understand how it works, I've been loving to paint seascapes, and I've been loving to incorporate them in every single landscape that I do. And I feel like it adds such a beautiful, it is so beautiful to add it in your landscapes, because every single landscapes has water, whether it's a lake, a river, or if you're painting the ocean. And yeah, I feel like it is really important to know how to paint a seascape if you're a landscape artist, or if you just love watching the sea, looking at sea pictures, sea paintings, and you'd love to know how it works, then this is the easiest way to do it. I'm still adding those details. This painting is a 20 by 20 centimeters canvas, so it is quite small, and this did take me around 1 hour. So for a small canvas, I would say that it is acceptable, but as I said, you have to add that detail, you have to be patient. If you're going with a bigger canvas, you might have to finish it the next day. However, I really recommend that you go with the method of wet on wet, so you have to leave your background wet, and when you go with a detail, make sure that the background is wet so that your strokes blend in very well with the background and you get that natural feel. So this is how it turned out. If you decide to try it out, make sure that you tag me on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram handle down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a small tutorial and the tips that I use. Let me know if you'd like to see more of those, and I will see you next week in a new video. Bye!